The goal of my researches and my thesis was to demonstrate that audiovisual translation represents a fundamental turning point in international communication. It is constantly evolving and it represents a really complex process. This is combined with the intention of demonstrating that it is a real branch of translation studies despite the fact that the title is not completely recognized. Even though many scholars of the academic world have been interested in deepening the topic, the studies conducted and published are decently scarce compared to the importance that audiovisual translation has in our society. Cinema and television have been the most used and engaging means of international communication for decades. Consequently, the products that are distributed through their channel and which need to be adapted to the language of the receiving country are constantly increasing. The so-called audiovisual translation therefore arises from the need to be able to understand, a need rooted in each of us. It must have happened to everyone at least once to watch a film with subtitles even though it was in our native language and see with our own eyes that what was being said did not correspond to what was written in the subtitles. In the same way, my thesis arises from the need to deepen the above topic, which very few know fully in its nuances, despite the fact that it represents one of the means by which the population has access to learning foreign languages. It also provides access to more information, and it is always thanks to audiovisual translation tools that we can expand our culture. Within my work, I focused on deepening subtitling and dubbing, techniques designed, used, and improved in order to expand the target audience of audiovisual products. Subtitling consists of a technique that does not intend to replace the original column but to accompany it in order to allow the target audience to understand the work while having the original dialogues available, which can be used for various purposes, including learning a second language. I also want to remind that subtitling is an essential tool for the inclusion of people with disabilities, such as the deaf and blind people. Dubbing is used as an audiovisual translation technique in order to substitute the voice of the dubbers from the original soundtrack of the film. The latter is more immediately understood by the public but requires much more work than subtitles since the translator or dialogue writer who writes the metatext must necessarily submit to various indications as well as synchronization. Both techniques represent equally useful methods for understanding an audiovisual product for a foreign country, although naturally each one of them has positive and negative aspects. I feel able to say that, according to my personal opinion, after long researches and several conversations with industry experts, that the dubbing technique is the most effective in terms of communication if used in the right way. Thanks to dubbing, people of all ages, social background, more or less high reading skill, more or less high understanding skill, can approach the understanding of the audiovisual product. In fact, thanks to dubbing, there is the possibility that the audience is not distracted, nor being forced to read and view what is happening in the scene at the same time. The main advantage of dubbing it is in fact represented by the fluidity of vision by the viewer. In conclusion, I feel able to say, following extensive researches and the drafting of my thesis, that the world of audiovisual translation encompasses infinite possibilities, fundamental in a technological and globalized reality such as the one we live in today. And this is precisely the reason why preserving and deepening these techniques is essential.